Welcome to Good Times with Alex and Ryan. I am Ryan Sprague. You can follow me on any social media at Ryan W. Sprague. Alex.
What's up? My name's Alex Vanover. You can follow me on Twitter at Vandollar15. You can follow me on YouTube at Alex Vanover. And you can follow me on the Instagram at Alex Vanover15.
What? Yeah, go ahead. Follow us out. We haven't posted in a while, but do it. We still got some content out there. We're going to bring in some more.
Yeah, I got plenty of previous videos and little trailers that we've made for the podcast and for stuff I've done on Fox Sports Radio that's up. So check that out, guys. That would be great if you give me a follow.
All right. And, with this podcast, if you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're doing, where you're at. You need to, if you're driving right now, listen to us, pull over, next stop, next gas station, go and look for the follow button and hit notification bell because you want to do it right now before you forget, because you don't want to miss this. This is the best podcast ever to hit the airwaves.
Yeah, if you're Ryan, I can't echo Ryan enough. If you're driving right now, if you're breastfeeding, if you're working out, if you're at church, if you're at work, stop what you're doing right now, get to a mobile device, and click subscribe. And also, since you've gone that far, I want you to head to teespring.com where you can get all the latest and greatest Good Times merch, which, by the way, Ryan, there is a 10% discount right now. So they go ahead and get a hold of us. We'll get them that code. But it's important they do it right now.
Do it. Do it. Do it now. What do we got for stories?
Okay, so we're going to do some fun facts to warm up. The fun facts for the Good Times podcast is basically like calisthenics for the soul. This is like 8th grade PE. Start out with a few fun facts and break in us and the audience. We'll get ready.
Get ready. We're going to do it.
All right. Fun fact number 1. In 2006, excuse me, in 2006, a Coca-Cola employee offered to sell Coke Secrets to Pepsi. Pepsi immediately responded by notifying Coca-Cola. This guy thought he was going to get rich. He was like a janitor.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, so they stole the formula, and then Coca-Cola. Yeah, I remember that.
He's like dreaming in his head, like, this is definitely how I'm going to get out of this situation, and completely backfired on the guy. That's insane.
Like that doesn't make any sense. Like why would you think this huge corporation is going to stick their neck out? Oh, we have the formula. But maybe they copied it before they sent it in.
I don't know.
Put this through the copy machine, and okay, we'll turn them into the police now.
Well, they probably thought like they're gonna want to know the competition secret, and they're gonna pay me X amount of dollars. But I mean, it doesn't work like that nowadays, especially with Fortune 500 companies or whatever they are.
Yeah.
What this guy should have did was have an entrepreneurial spirit and be like the guy who created Flaming Hot Cheetos. Did you hear about this guy?
I heard of the janitor guy.
Yeah, the janitor. He was just worked at the Frito-Lay company where Cheetos were made, and in the cafeteria at lunchtime, he'd bring in his own seasoning and spices and put them on his Cheetos. Well, one day, the guy who owned the company just happened to be in there, like a Mrs. Doubtfire situation completely. Like when Robin Williams was playing with the dinosaurs, and the guy who owned the TV station's like, "Hey, I need to replace that, Mr. Rogers guy with you, rapping dinosaur guy." But this actually happened. That guy actually was like, "Hey, let me try those," and they were exquisite. That's what the Coca-Cola thief should have done.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Coca-Cola doesn't even taste that good comparative, because that's why they came out with new Coke, right? They did taste tests.
They were trying to make it taste more like Pepsi.
Well, no, they were just trying to make a better formula. And so they did a blind taste test. Everybody picked the new Coke. But because Coke brand and name is like so associated with people of like what they like, it didn't fly. It's crazy. I never tried the new Coke though.
Me neither. I think people still have, well, obviously it's not good to drink anymore, but I think people still have like bottled, bottles of New Coke that haven't been opened.
Ah,
Collector's items or whatever. Mike Richardson had a can, a friend of the show, former guest multiple times, Mike Richardson,
yeah.
had a can of Pepsi from the 1994 Rose Bowl from the Ducks.
Yeah.
And he never opened it, but it was sealed, but you'd shake it. And every time you'd shake it, there'd be less and less liquid actually in the can because it was just evaporating. Completely sealed Pepsi can, and it sounded like there was nothing but like a little bit of tiny bit of liquid in the bottom. It was really interesting to see how that worked.
I heard eventually like the liquid eats its way out of the can because of the acid in there, but
Totally possible. I just thought that was really interesting.
yeah.
Here's another interesting fun fact for all you good timers out there. In 2009, Stephen Hawking, world-renowned astrophysicist, genius scientist Stephen Hawking, held a reception for time travelers. He didn't publicize it until after the event was held. That way, only time travelers would be able to attend. Unfortunately, Ryan, nobody else showed up to the event except for Stephen Hawking himself.
How do you know though? Maybe they didn't want to be known. Maybe they're like, okay, we're gonna tell you some pretty serious stuff, but you cannot say anything, and we'll know. We'll know if you said something. Huh?
Because we know you're the only time travelers that showed up because we didn't send out any invites, huh?
Yeah. So like, if they showed up and they told them not to say, maybe.
Well, I think you're onto something. Dr. Emmett Brown shows up in the DeLorean. Stephen Hawking, I'm here. Here's my friend Marty. Oh,
Great Scott!
Great Scott! You said there'd be punch and pie here, Marty. I haven't decided if I want to have the beef or the fish, Marty.
Biff comes along for the ride.
What the hell are you doing, old man?
You idiot!
It's not as funny as a screen door on a battleship. Biff is one of the all-time great movie villains. He's not even that evil. He doesn't kill anybody. He doesn't like rob banks. He does nothing bad. He's just a dick. That's all he does.
That's a good point.
He's not really a villain.
Doctor Who shows up.
Oh, with the TARDIS?
Yeah.
They both show up in Hill Valley in 1985. Like, hey!
Everybody shows up at his little party. He's like, oh, Doctor Who, you really exist. Oh, Marty, what's up?
What was that? What was that cartoon on the Bullwinkle and Rocky? It was Peabody and Sherman.
Yeah,
they time travel too. They show up.
You just have them all there in the same room, and he's like, whoa.
Bill and Ted show up. Whoa, dude, we got a new movie out. This is most excellent. Yeah. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, they get there because of Bill and Ted, because they're collecting all the time travelers for a project. They're trying to pass their history class. I have a hard time believing that Bill and Ted's the big problem with them graduating high school was one history class. I feel like they probably didn't pass their other classes. What do you think? What makes you think that?
The sequel should have been Bill and Ted trying to pass Algebra 1.
You're so judgmental, Alex.
Yeah, come on. That's most non-heinous. Excellent. I like Bill and Ted. I'm actually kind of bummed that COVID hit because I want to see that in theater. I really want to. I never got to see one in the theater.
I saw it on. I didn't see the movie, but I saw that it's available on Amazon.
Yeah, but isn't it like $29.99 or something? I'm not paying.
I don't know. It doesn't look as good. That's all. Yeah.
It's got to be in the theater, dude. Those kind of movies have to be watched in the theater. I read the reviews. They're pretty good. I read good things. Yeah, I heard it was pretty good.
Okay, then it might be worth a watch then.
Let's just be honest. Keanu Reeves is pretty much good in anything he does, so I think it's probably going to be all right.
Keanu Reeves as Keanu Reeves?
Yeah. No, Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. How dare you? Tom Cruise starring in a new Tom Cruise movie where he's at his cruisiest best. You don't want to miss Tom Cruise in this new Tom Cruise feature film. Seriously, he's Tom Cruise, and I say it all the time. I hate Tom Cruise. Moving on.
But he was different in like Risky Business, or he wasn't a spy or anything in that.
He hadn't perfected his cruiseness yet. It was still too early in his career. Tom Cruise he's an extra in the movie Young Guns, which is one of my favorite movies. It's like a cowboy movie. It's about Billy the Kid. It came out in like the late 80s. Tom Cruise was good friends with Emilio Estevez, who played Billy the Kid in that movie. And he was just kind of hanging around on set one day. And Emilio's like, hey, all you're doing is sitting around drinking coffee, waiting for me to get off work so we can go.
Was he like Emilio? Emilio
Yeah,
Estevez, the Mighty Ducks guy?
Maybe. He was like,
the one that hey, Breakfast Clubber's name.
he was like, hey, you're just sitting around on set, dude. Why don't you be an extra? So in the last gunfight, Tom Cruise gets killed in like the first 5 minutes of the gunfight. But it's him like in disguise. He's wearing a mustache. He gets shot. I could like, if I was with you, I could point it out to you. But yeah, good timers. If you're watching Young Guns, in the very end fight scene when the guys are stuck in the house, Tom Cruise is one of the first people killed when they break out of the house. Wow. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, did you see that new movie on Netflix, Power, or it's called something about power, and you take a pill and you have power for like 15 minutes?
No, but I'm interested already. What's it about?
I don't know. It looked a little dark, so I wasn't sure when I was going to get a chance to watch or get up, because I don't like watching stuff that's kind of
around your kids and stuff.
But yeah, they take a pill and then they have this power for so long, and Jamie Foxx is in it. And the reason I heard about it is because I watched this YouTuber, Casey Neistat, and he was in a quick scene with it. So
really, so a YouTuber made it into a movie, huh?
Yeah, well, his brother is like in the actual film business, and he was kind of in film, so that's why it makes kind of decent material. But
well, that's actually really cool. That's something everybody could aspire to do. That's insane.
Yeah. All right.
That's a great segue, actually. We're talking about YouTubers making it into major motion pictures. During the Prohibition, the U.S. government allowed whiskey to be sold through pharmacies. So in the 1920s, alcohol was illegal, Prohibition era, whatever. Everybody knows that. So Walgreens had a pharmacy. So at the time, there was only 20, Walgreens in the United States. Well, in the next 10 years during the Prohibition, during the 20s, it grew from 20 to 400 because the Walgreens had pharmacies. So they were able to have their business expand at an exponential rate just because they could sell whiskey to people that had a prescription that needed to be filled with whiskey.
Well, I could go several ways on this. Number one, in business school, we learned that Walgreens was so innovative and grew so much because they made up the corner drugstore model, where you put the drugstore on the corner and you get two sides of traffic. But what really happened is people wanted to get drunk. Well, I was lied to, and I'm a little disappointed.
Well, maybe it was a mix of both, but Walgreens is still to this day very thriving.
It sounds very similar to medical marijuana, where, hey, I have no problems except for whatever it takes to get this medical marijuana.
My dad is like going down to the Walgreens in 1927. He's like, oh, I got the itis. Well, what is it, sir? What inflammation of what? I have no idea. I just need some bourbon. I got this prescription. Give me a pint, please. I'm dying here. Man, you're dying every day around 4 p.m. What's going on? All right, so check. This one's kind of interesting. Herring fish communicate by using flatulence. That's how they communicate. Which leads me to my next revelation in my life, Ryan. Mackenzie Rose Baldwin is actually not human. He's a herring fish.
Dude, you're bold to call your friends.
Well, I'm just telling. It's not like he doesn't know that he is fluent in flatulence. Okay, right? It's not like it's not well known. His house when we would go over there and spend the night, and I'm sure you remember this. I made a joke. I said people fart over here so much during sleepovers that there's probably the San Andreas fart line runs underneath the house. Not a fault line, a fart line.
I'm gonna take some responsibility for that, okay? Because I was on a total orange juice, true orange juice fad, and I would just gulp down like half a gallon a night, and I got gas. Really bad, and it was bad.
all that pulp, high pulp, was running through your digestive system.
It was bad. So yes, a lot of that was me. Okay, so.
I just remember.
I couldn't say anything because you guys would beat the crap out of me because I had to get a doorknob or something. Doorknob!
I don't think it helped that you were drinking a full gallon of high pulp orange juice and then also eating Taco Bell and McDonald's and 7-Eleven every night either. I don't think that's like we had the best diet back then. No. You're like, man, I've gained like 10 pounds. I feel like I've been exercising a lot as I'm chugging a gigantic Slurpee and dipping my quarter-pound Big Bite in the Slurpee. The bun and all. I'm dipping the hot dog in the bun in the Slurpee. I'm like, why am I gaining weight? Pass the nacho cheese Fritos, Ryan.
Oh, man.
Right? Because, I mean, when you're a kid, you're growing. And you're in like team sports, you're in swimming, you're in football, whatever
swimming,
we did.
Like when I was in swimming, I could eat anything.
You could eat anything you want.
Yeah. It was like I would have McDonald's and every fast
every
food.
Day. 3 days a week, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
You should gain a pound, you'd actually lose weight.
Yeah.
And then when you graduate, you're not, if you don't go on to play college sports or have somebody to tell you have to go to PE, and you don't have the drive to do it, you're going to gain weight, man. It's just the way things are. And everybody acts surprised when it happens. How did this happen?
I'm getting older. That's all it is. My metabolism isn't picking up with me.
And it's like, well, I think it's just basic math. I think it's like, I'm not a mathematician. I'm terrible at math. I've said this before on the show. But I think it's just math at this point. Like, calories in, calories out. If you're eating quarter-pound Big Bites at 1 o'clock in the morning and dipping it in your graveyard soda that has root beer, Mountain Dew, Coca-Cola, with cheese sauce in it, and then slamming, a big bag of Fritos and drinking full orange juice, you're going to gain weight, right? Right? No amount of egging and TPing is going to work that off. It's just not going to happen.
What we did.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, when we were kids, did you believe in the Tooth Fairy?
As a kid?
Yeah.
I'll probably right at first.
Yeah, me too. My grandma had a little glass, like, coffee mug. It was like a thimble size. It had a little mug. It was like a barrel. So it was multi-purpose. Like, I would drink coffee with her. If my parents went out, she'd babysit me and actually let me drink coffee, which is kind of crazy because I was like 4. But when I lost a tooth, she would put my tooth in the water, and the next day it would have change in it. So the tooth would be gone and then there'd be change. And it was always like 50-cent pieces or maybe $1 piece. Well, back then I'd probably get $1. How much would you get from the Tooth Fairy? Do you remember it all?
Not at all. Not
like
much.
Maybe 50 cents, maybe $1.
Yeah.
Do you know what the average kid in America gets from the Tooth Fairy now?
$20.
No, I wish that would have changed my life at that age. But I could have retired at 4 if I got $20. No, the average American child is given $3.70 per tooth nowadays.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's about right. Goes up with inflation and all that.
$3.70, man. I think I got about $1. $3.70 would even still be a game changer at that age because that is a lot. That is at least 6 regular sized Snickers bars, right? Or 3 big bags of chips. There's our sodas. That's like maybe 4 cans of soda. $3.70 would change my life. I think I just can't. These kids nowadays losing all these teeth, like they're getting all this money.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Back in my day, when I lost a tooth, we should just start knocking our teeth out now if we need to pay bills. It's like, well, those are baby.
Hockey. See if we can make it into hockey.
Ryan, those are $3.70 a piece for baby teeth. How much are full-grown adult teeth worth?
That you're never going to get back.
Right? It's got to be at least $10 a tooth. I got at least $100 in my grill right now, dog. It's a cell phone payment and electricity, son. Hey, so have you ever been on a cruise?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I have friends that are always like, you got to go on a cruise. You got to go on a cruise.
You know, if
Buffet every day.
yeah.
Casinos.
Yeah, I would. If if.
Yeah. If I wanted to get fat again, I'd go on a cruise. Oh no, Alex, they got a gym. Yeah, they got a full gym. Blah blah blah. They got all these amenities. Yes, they have all these amenities. They have all these great things.
Well,
You know what
I
else
think
they
I
have?
think I think it would be really fun to go on a cruise with good friends. That would be amazing. I would really be excited for something like that.
That would be fun. One of the problems about a cruise though is I don't drink, so a lot of the cruise life is
I don't
being on the
either.
deck.
So there you go. You got a friend who doesn't drink. We could do two designated cruise drivers. We'll
Bring a
just
captain's hat and you take the
we'll
wheel.
have it there. We'll have the Good Times cruise. We'll be driving. Okay, we'll be the designated drivers because we don't drink.
So
We'll
when
be
we're big
driving the
enough,
cruise boat.
when we're big
Having
enough,
a party.
we're gonna have the Good Times cruise ship, and we're actually gonna have podcasts once a day with an audience, seated and watching the Good Times. Is that what we're gonna
Yeah,
do?
that's it.
All right, I'm
As
in.
we're driving the boat because we're designated drivers.
Good times, ho!
A
Hey.
3-hour tour.
Gilligan. Hey, so those cruise ships have all those amenities, right, Ryan?
Right.
You know what else they have? They have morgues on every cruise ship. They have a morgue. And listen to this.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Every single one, huh? Wow.
Every one of them. They have to. Because on average, 200 people per year die on cruise ships. Probably older people that drink
that
too
makes
much,
sense.
whatever. Shuffleboard accident, whatever.
There's just a lot of older people, and I can see that happening. Yeah.
Well, if they're older and they're playing bingo and they actually hit, heart attack, dead. That could happen.
That was good. That was a good one.
It's like bingo. Well, I get excited about bingo. I'm sure you do if you get a bingo.
Yeah.
These cruise ships are able to store up to 10 dead bodies per ship in the morgue.
Wow.
So not only do people die on these ships, but multiple people die on these ships. That's insane. I didn't know that. I read that today and I almost fell out of my chair. Cruise ships are supposed to be a lot of fun, right? We let off this whole segment talking about how
Apparently,
fun
for
they are.
some people, they're too much fun.
Yeah, too much. If you are prone to fits of excitement, and if bingo or shuffleboard is too much for your heart, don't go on a cruise ship because you're probably going to die. As a matter of fact, they've even planned for it. Yeah. All right, Ryan. 2 more fun facts.
Oh my goodness, we're going at it. We're 40.
Yeah.
Like we're in it, and
I found a lot of good ones. So I wanted to.
Cool.
All right. So there's a company in the UK that offers being hungover as a valid reason for calling off of work. They are allowed 4 hungover days per week. Ryan?
Per week?
Yeah, per week.
Wow.
No, not per week, per year. Okay. I must have miswrote that. I read it as year. I wrote that wrong.
Per
4
week
per year.
Like, I'm always
You're never at work. Just always drinking. 4 hungover days per year. Now, Ryan, if that existed when I worked at many places.
Yeah, including the one where I was your boss.
Yeah, I'd probably still be employed at some of these places. I started to run out of excuses. I mean, my dog can only die so many times when I didn't have a dog. Grandma had died 10 years prior to me even being employed at some of these places. So I was running out of excuse notes, man. Because seriously, I was like, well, I'm gonna level with you. I was drunk, and it's like, okay, well, you're being written up and you're suspended. That's where most places would do to you. But get out of jail hungover day, huh? I might start drinking again.
No.
What do you think? Good times, huh?
No.
Move to the UK.
Not.
Have a good time.
You're like, I've been sober for 10 years, but that does it for me. I'm getting back in it. Back in the game.
Yeah, I was sober for purely financial reasons. Now that I know I can get drunk and get paid for it, I'm fine with it. Hey, last fun fact of the night, and this one's kind of interesting. Chewing gum boosts mental proficiency and is considered a better test aid than caffeine.
I have one name for you.
Okay.
Pete Carroll.
He chews gum all the time. He's chomping it.
That's all he does during the whole game.
Hey, that's why our teachers, when we were growing up and in college, didn't allow gum chewing, because it was a performance enhancer.
I mean, I use it. It does help me think better. I use it like when I need to stay awake and think better, and yeah, that type of stuff. It does help with teeth too. If you get the stuff with xylitol in it, it helps your teeth. Chewing gum's good.
How does it help your teeth?
It helps. Your body makes saliva, which helps clean off your teeth.
Okay. I do know that when I was a kid, I used to love gum, and my favorite gum was Fruit Stripes gum. Do you remember the Fruit Stripes gum?
If it has sugar in it,
it had sugar in it. But
yeah, that's not good.
Well,
it's not good for your teeth.
They were zebra striped. Do you remember these pieces of gum?
Kind of. Yes. Yeah, that was the early '90s thing.
Yeah, and it was like the best gum. It was the best gum ever. But you'd put it in your mouth and chew on it for like, I'm not even exaggerating this, 15 seconds, and the flavor's gone. It would be a supernova burst, shooting star
You're exactly
flavor.
Right.
Yeah. It would be the best piece of gum you've ever had in your life. And it would almost be so much flavor like that I couldn't even comprehend it. I'd almost pass out and black out from the ecstasy of this gum.
Yeah.
And then 15 seconds later, it just tasted like I was chewing on a piece of cardboard.
Or paste or something.
Yeah, nothing. It had no flavor at all after 15 seconds. It was an everlasting gobstopper. It was not. Okay?
It was the opposite.
It was the opposite. It was an always stopping gobstopper. Like immediately it would just run out of flavor. It's like those summer romances, Ryan. That's how I compare a piece of Fruit Stripes gum. Starts out hot and heavy. Start planning things.
I didn't have much of those. I see them on TV sometimes, but didn't have any summer romances there.
Well, you'd have a summer
romance
going
me out
on.
there, buddy.
you'd get one going. Everything starts out real hot and heavy, and everything's roses. And then someone says something, or you disagree for the first time, and then you start like really resenting everybody.
Did I just not say I can't relate?
You know how they go, Ryan. Let me keep talking. And then a week later, they're over. That's Fruit Stripes gum.
Like,
all right, Ryan.
Like, what is it? Like, the Karate Kid, right? They go out. They go to the game and stuff. Doesn't she dump him or something? What?
She dumps him in part 2. Yeah.
This is exactly what you're describing, right? Were you the Karate Kid?
Dude.
When we were at the dance, did you come in a
shower curtain? Dude, LaRusso got his ass kicked the entire first movie. He got just worked. He got jumped. He got pushed down a hill on a bicycle. He almost died. Cobra Kai basically tried to kill him, right? Pushing him on his bike down that hill while he's riding. That's attempted murder, okay?
Pretty messed up.
Okay,
but still, that's still bullying. Like a lot of.
Yeah, it was. But Allie broke up with him after all that. He went through hell to be with that girl.
And
she still dumped him.
Why did she dump him?
They said that she met a quarterback or something. But here's what really happened. Elizabeth Shue got famous and probably wanted more money. And they couldn't have her character in the film, so they just wrote her out. The little inside information on that one, Ryan.
Have you seen Cobra Kai?
Yeah, I've seen parts of the first season, but it just got uploaded onto YouTube.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna start
on Netflix from YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It was on YouTube.
I love that. I think that series is awesome. Even though it's like for kids, it's like it's really good. And it shows a different side to what's his name?
Johnny,
yeah. And it shows like his side of the story, how he was kind of he's like, I was just hanging out with my girlfriend, and he comes over and punches me in the face.
Which is true. Daniel LaRusso was kind of a
from
bully.
his side of the story.
Yeah, he was though. He went and argued. He went and tried to intervene in a couple's argument, and Johnny was trying to like, hey, stay away from us, get out of my business. And Daniel LaRusso started pushing it, and so Johnny just handled business. Johnny was actually the hero of that film.
That's what. Did you see the series? It'll go over that.
I've seen it a little bit, but there's a YouTube video that's got like 1 million views before that show ever came out, and it describes how Daniel LaRusso is the villain and Johnny's the hero. I'll show you the link after we stop filming. It's really good.
All right.
Hey Ryan, breaking news! We're going to California.
Is it Hollywood?
Hit the button.
Hold on.
Hit the button.
Hold on. Is it Hollywood? You don't know.
Hollywood.
You got to know this. That's our, ladies and gentlemen, I have hit the button of our great, fantastic studio. We have high quality class performance buttons here.
The buttons are so expensive, they actually change every time we hit them.
Exactly. They sound just like me, but they're not me.
Yeah, it's the first of its kind. All right. So there was a fire. There was a fire down in California from the LNU lightning complex fires. I guess there was, light thunderstorms were causing fires down in California. So the city of LA, the little farm towns surrounding LA were evacuating people from the suburbs because they're like, hey, the fires are kind of approaching these neighborhoods. There's going to probably be a good idea to like just get out of the area just in case. Well, this one guy decided he was going to stay. His name's Chad Little. His family was evacuated, but he decided he was going to stay and fight because 5 years prior, his house had burnt down before. So he's like, this is not happening again. So he decided to set up this little barricade with his hose. So he had like water being shot out of his hose. Like he's trying everything he can do to like fight this off from spreading to his house. Well, the city eventually turned the water off because they needed to use it. Yeah, they needed to use it.
No.
So apparently Chad is a huge fan of Bud Light. So he actually had like 10 to 15, 30-pack cases of Bud Light.
Wow.
So the only thing he had to fight this fire that was still approaching was cans of Bud Light. So he like ripped off a side of his shed and it had a nail exposed. So he'd grab a can, pop it open, shake it up, and spray it all over the fire. He just repeated that process through 10 to 15 cases of Bud Light, fought off the fire till the fire department came and put out the fire that was approaching towards his house.
Wow.
He saved his house with Bud Light.
That's insane. My
yeah, this happened last week.
I'm glad that he was not injured or killed because I don't think that was the brightest move to stick around when everybody tells you to evacuate. You remember like Mount St. Helens, there was that guy that decided to stick around and he's dead.
And was eviscerated.
Yeah. that stuff happens. So ladies and gentlemen, if they tell you to evacuate, good timers, we want our good timers here with us. So
yeah, we can't lose any actually. So please don't die.
Yeah,
we need as many good timers.
When they say to evacuate. Okay, good timers.
Yeah, all 7 of you, please don't try to fight off a fire with a pack of Bud Light.
Or stick around when a volcano is about to explode. Or go out and try to surf waves when a hurricane's coming. Just follow what the authorities say.
Yeah, but just leave. But make sure if you are leaving to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications on your way out.
If you are staying though, before the storm hits, be sure to hit the subscribe
and the notifications and the bells. Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy about this story is that everybody's always like, yeah, Bud Light's just water anyway. Bud Light, water.
I've heard that.
Yeah, right. And then it's like, well, I guess it really was water because it put out a gigantic fire. So, Bud Light needs to, they can't argue it now, right? It is what it is. We have the proof now on paper.
They need to push that promotion there. Bud Light, we save lives.
Yeah, Bud Light. Bud Light. Not only get you drunk, really drunk, Save your life in your house too, America. Bud Light.
All right,
Hey.
Alex. Alex, I got a story.
Okay,
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So, in the UK, there's some people that are ready to move. Okay, but they're going to pay someone £2,000 to help them move. But there's a stipulation. You ready for this?
Yes.
They're nudist, so the person that has to move has to be nude, and they're going to pay them £2,000 to do this.
What does it matter if the people that are helping them move, why do they have to be naked?
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, that's what's going on. Would you
Okay.
do it?
Would I do it?
Yeah. Would you?
Yes. Yes.
2,000?
I do it. Yeah, I do it. Is it a pound? How much is a pound in American currency?
It used to be double. I think it's like so if 1 pound, it'd be like $1.6.
Yeah, I'd do it for sure.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Well, if they want to see me, I'm not going to sleep with them or something. If they want to see me naked, that's on them, and it's not that great. So they're going to whatever.
But then there's other people that might see too, because you're walking out and moving.
Well, I'll just say this: if they want to see me naked, more power to them. There's nowhere. That's it. I'll take the money. If they want to see me naked, that's great. That's flattering. I've been working out a lot. Thank God they didn't pay me, 7 months ago, because they really would have been getting a run for their money. Would you do it?
Well, okay. So I brought
you didn't say no. I already
hold on. It's more than a yes or no. So
okay.
I was reading the story and my wife's like, I do it.
I do it too. There's nothing. I mean.
Okay, so here's the thing though. Like, I would not do it if I had plenty of money, right? And I didn't need it. But now it's like, well, maybe. Here's the deal though. As a guy, sometimes certain things happen that are out of your control.
Sure.
That would be very awkward.
Oh, I already know. Yeah, that would be tough.
So that would be a holdback.
Right. We had to deal with that in junior high without getting paid $4,000.
Yeah, but you're actually naked, so.
Dude,
that's the thing.
That
wouldn't deter you.
No, it is what it is. I'd walk around loud and proud. I'd be like, hey, check it out. No. Do you remember being in junior high? It was basically on a hair trigger. Like anything could make that thing go off. I remember having to do a speech in junior high. Right.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I remember having to do a speech in junior high, and it just, like, for some reason happened. And I was like, how on earth am I going to – I'm next. I am next, and I cannot get this thing to settle down. I am in big trouble. So I just went up there. I tried to tie my hoodie around my waist, and it just looked so ridiculous. No, I'm telling you, man, that thing was on a hair trigger.
There's a friend of ours that Josh was telling me about. He got in trouble, and it was like really obvious, and they told him to stand up.
Oh man.
Oh,
yeah.
Everybody saw.
That's
it's
such
like like school. It's like, yeah, so that's a hold up.
Okay. I would probably still do it. I would just try to make sure I was social distancing myself properly. I'd go double the 6 feet. I'd be like, get the heck away from me. I need 12 feet for this bad boy.
All right.
Yeah.
Your story.
Hey Ryan, so in Tennessee, a tortoise escaped.
Yeah.
Are you there?
I'm here. Are you
You're
there?
breaking up, buddy.
I'm here.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Your tortoise escaped.
We're good. We're gonna have to edit that part out. Technical difficulties. Hit the button, Ryan. All right. So in Tennessee, a tortoise escaped. It was found 74 days after it had escaped. Lynn Cole said her 150-pound sulcata tortoise named Solomon had escaped from her home on June 8th. The tortoise was found 74 days later at a construction site. The tortoise had only moved from its home an eighth of a mile. So it was gone for 74 days, but it had actually only made it an eighth of a mile. And this lady who owns the turtle or the tortoise was like, oh yeah, I put it on like the Facebook page and I put out, missing person posters and I was just doing searches all over the place. And it's like, the first thing I heard about when I thought about when I read the story was like, oh yeah, sure, Lynn. The tortoise has been gone for 74 days. It's moved a total of eighth of a mile in 74 days. You did all this hard work to find this tortoise. Sure, this is the Casey Anthony case, but with a turtle. Like, I smell BS from a mile away. I'm a detective, Ryan, and I'm calling bullcrap on this lady. What do you think about this?
Well, you can prove that she actually sent out flyers and stuff.
Well, did she? I didn't see any proof.
Like she put out flyers. If you can look up the history on the Facebook.
Okay, well, we may need to look into this because the first thing I thought about was like, this lady's just tired of having this tortoise, and tortoises live to be like 100 years old.
Yeah,
they live forever. The turtles in Rocky, the first Rocky movie that he buys from Adrian at the pet shop, Cuff and Link. Do you remember that at all? He buys two baby turtles.
I don't remember that. Yeah.
Dude, those turtles are still owned by Sylvester Stallone. They're like 40. They're just in his house. They're going to be alive well after Sylvester's day.
Yeah, yeah. I read this one story, and I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but they say it's true. These people, they had a tortoise. They lost it. Couldn't find it. Had no idea where it was.
Okay.
30 years later, they're cleaning up the attic, and they found it in a box, still alive.
What? How did it eat or drink anything?
That's the thing. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Maybe it found something. I don't know. Maybe there was some water in there. I don't know. Water wouldn't last
30 years worth of water.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I think that Lynn, the lady who lost this tortoise, was up there. She's a hitman for tortoises, and she's just really bad at her job. She was assigned to kill that tortoise, too, and it lived.
Wow.
Lynn, you know what to do. We need this tortoise gone. And she's like, don't even worry about it, honey. I got this. I took care of my previous tortoise. They're like, no, you didn't. Well, I got rid of the other one. No, you didn't. That's why we're warning you that you need to make sure you take care of this tortoise, Lynn.
Take care of it, for real.
Because you're really bad at killing tortoises. You're 0 for 2. All
right, wait, I got a story.
Well, bring it on.
All right.
I love it.
Okay. A gardener set a new speed record. Can you guess what the speed record was for?
He's a gardener?
Yeah.
Most ears of corn husked in a day.
No, the speed record on the back of a homemade wheelbarrow.
How fast did he go?
Kevin Nix, 55, set a new speed record of 44 miles per hour on the back of a wheelbarrow. He called it the barrel of speed.
Of course he did. You'd love that wheelbarrow because you like to go fast.
Yes. That is the it's in the blood wheelbarrow.
What kind of wheel did this wheelbarrow have? This is a souped up wheelbarrow.
The picture shows him it's got like a regular wheelbarrow, and he's standing on the end with the wheel underneath him. And
that's crazy,
down
dude.
the hill.
So, we had a wheelbarrow in our grandpa's yard where we grew up, and my brother would put me in the wheelbarrow, and we'd be going along really fast, having fun, laughing. And I don't know why I kept getting in the wheelbarrow because it ended the same every time. He would dump it to the side or dump it in the front, and I'd be dumped out. Get it every time. I'd still get in the wheelbarrow, though, and go for the ride. I did it every time, knowing how it was going to end every time. It's like a toxic relationship if you're dating somebody. It's like, I really want to go on that wheelbarrow ride again, but I know I'm going to get dumped on my ass at the end. That's what it was, right? That's an analogy for a
exactly.
bad relationship. But I just,
like it. Yeah.
hey, I dusted myself off and got my ass right back in that wheel Harley. Hey, in Michigan, a young 20-year-old woman was declared dead, Ryan.
Oh.
She was declared dead. The Southfield fire paramedics arrived to an unresponsive 20-year-old female. After 20 minutes of working on her, they determined she was deceased. So they sent her to the James H. Cole Funeral Home. 15 minutes after she had been on the slab, right? They're preparing her to probably do an autopsy or something. The person who ran the funeral home noticed that she was breathing.
Oh, wow.
She was alive. They immediately called EMS, and she was rushed to the hospital, and she's fine. She's alive.
Good.
She's fine.
Good.
She was
That's crazy.
moments away from being embalmed or had an autopsy performed on her.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I heard a similar story in Dallas. I don't know if it was in Dallas, but when I was there, someone, older person, they declared dead and moved him to the home or whatever, or put him in the body bag, move him home, put him in the body bag, and then the person that he started moving.
He's in the bag and he's carrying him and he starts moving.
Yeah, well, yeah, when he was in the bag. And so they opened it up and he's still alive. I mean, he was on his deathbed, but they thought he was dead. And nope, he's still alive.
I would probably have a heart attack if I was the guy who was carrying the dead body and it started moving. I probably would be like, wouldn't you?
So I don't know. I'd be like, oh my goodness, yeah, we gotta get this figured out. Yeah,
we gotta take care of this. This is not a good time.
All I'm saying is what's going on? How do you not how do you not know if they're dead or not?
Okay, that's a really good question, and the only answer would be
that's two people.
That would be the only answer would be that either the person was breathing so shallow that it was almost not even registering a pulse, or their chest didn't look like they were moving. But the people who are in charge of these things really need to pay attention, because that's something that you can never go back from. That's a mistake you can never.
If that happened, can you imagine? Well, I mean,
the lawsuit that would happen?
No, if that happened to two people and almost happened to them.
How many times has it happened before? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's a really good point. And back in the old days, they used to have bells that were attached to graves if people were buried in the old days, where if they were still alive, they'd ring the bell.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
I wonder if they ever used any of them.
I'm sure they did. I mean, if they had those, I'm sure they were used for a reason.
Yeah.
Because, and who knows, man? Maybe
because they wouldn't know. They would know even more so if someone was dead or not.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Aren't you supposed to take care of the body and prepare it to be buried? So what are these guys doing? They're like, oh yeah, it's like when you do paper. Like when I worked at the garbage company, you do your pre and post trip inspection. There's 100 things to do on this. Check the tires for air, check all the lights and stuff. I didn't do any of that. I just walk around the truck and check everything off, which is illegal. I probably shouldn't have done that, right? That's bad. Yeah. But these people are probably like, oh, they're dead. I gotta go watch, Dallas or whatever, or Dynasty or whatever they're doing. They're just normal people. They're like, oh, that person's dead. I'm just gonna get him ready. I gotta go. I got stuff. I gotta go.
I gotta watch Cobra Kai right now.
Yeah, Cobra Kai just got uploaded on the YouTube. I gotta go.
Country Time Lemonade. Watch some Cobra Kai right now.
Yeah, I can't actually check to see if this person's dead or not. I am the mortician and all.
Yeah, let's turn on some good times right now so we can hang out and have a good time while this body's here and work on it.
the one mortician that listens to Good Times is highly offended right now.
Well, it's not a joke. It's saying he's having a good time.
Yeah, right. He's all those little bastards.
I'm saying he's having a good time. Turn on the good times when you do whatever work you're doing.
Yeah, hey, And while you're turning on Good Times, don't forget to hit those notifications and click that bell. Speaking of bells, even if you're buried, there's a bell on your grave. Ring that bell for notifications.
Ding, 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 ding.
Dead bodies all over the world want Good Times. Hey, Ryan, remember when we were talking about beefaloes last episode?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is really weird that I found this story because this is a beefalo story. You want to hear it?
Yeah. No, I don't want to hear it, Alex. Yeah, throw that out.
Kiss my butt. Throw it on the cutting room floor. There was an aggressive and escaped beefalo on the streets of Connecticut.
Oh, wait. This newly formed thing bred for meat that we just talked about.
Yes.
Well,
escaped.
Wait, hold on. It's gonna turn out like the killer bees, right? So this guy was trying to make bees to make better honey, and he made killer bees. Now this guy's trying to make better beef. He's gonna make killer beef.
Killer cows.
Killer buffalo. They're gonna come out.
That's why you shouldn't eat things with a face. This would never happen.
Yeah, don't mess with genetics.
Hey, so there's an aggressive and escaped beefalo on the streets of Connecticut. The Plymouth Police Department said the beefalo belonged to a Massachusetts farmer. So this cow escaped slaughter in Connecticut or in Massachusetts. It ended up in Connecticut, right? So it made it a lot further than the tortoise that made it 1/8 of a mile in 73 days.
I wonder if they were racing.
The animal escaped from a trailer outside the Plymouth Meats Processing Facility. So it was getting ready. It was tagged and being ready to be slaughtered for food. The animal fled August 3rd, and it wasn't spotted until 2 weeks later. So probably like August 22nd, August 23rd, whatever. Police tried to capture it when it was spotted a state away, and the brief capture attempt was called off because the animal displayed extremely aggressive behavior. This beefalo escaped the slaughter line, made it safely to another state 3 weeks later, and then was spotted by police and was able to evade police. This is the greatest beefalo, the Houdini of beefalo, Ryan. This you cannot keep this beefalo down. There's criminals, human being criminals with thinking brains that cannot escape anything. They talk their way into prison. This beefalo not only escaped death row, it also escaped being spotted in another state and getting away from that as well. Ryan, what's your thoughts on this, buddy?
I say let him live.
Oh, now, absolutely, yes. Let this beefalo live because he could teach classes to other beefalo about how to survive the mean streets of life.
Of course, my thoughts on that because, it has what, Alex?
It has a face. And this beefalo has a gigantic brain as well because it escaped death twice. You can't kill this. You cannot kill this beefalo now. You can't.
Legend. In reality, though, he was late for a race with a tortoise.
Yeah, he won because he made it a state.
Well, not necessarily, because the tortoise lives a lot longer than a beefalo. So, tortoise, I'm going for the tortoise on how long and on this race here.
It depends on where they were going too, because maybe the beefalo went in the wrong direction and the tortoise went a mile in the right direction.
Well, could be.
Yeah, the beefalo the beefalo was literally walking the Green Mile and just looked around and was like, "Hey, I was just standing in line next to my other buddy beefalos over here, and they aren't around anymore. And I heard some screaming. I'm out of here. I'm going to Connecticut. I'm going away."
And thus begins the legend, the myth of the tortoise versus the beefalo. The beefalo
brought to you the first time ever, the tortoise versus beefalo, live on pay-per-view on the Good Times podcast. Only you good timers will be able to see this race live.
People will tell their children this story for centuries.
Forever. It'll be like a Grimm's fairy tale. They'll just put it in the Exactly. They'll have a picture of us. Our logo will be in a book 300 years from now. Our great grandchildren will be reading the story of the tortoise and the beefalo.
Stories of the race between the tortoise and the beefalo.
Well, since that beefalo is so good at escaping death, it'll probably still be around when our great grandchildren are alive.
It'll find the cryogenic freezers and jump in there.
Yeah, it's developed intelligent thought. It's just the beefalo wears a lab coat and wears glasses. Actually showed up to the time travel meeting Stephen Hawking held because he's a genius now. He's a genius beefalo. He can speak many languages. Hey, so Ryan, I have one pop culture Hollywood story.
Wait, I got one before you.
You got one? Okay, all right.
My
Scratch
last
that,
one.
good timers. One more headline.
Well, my last one, okay.
All right, bring it.
All right. So, you've all seen people on mobility scooters, right? Having a hard time.
I saw one today.
Yep. And so they use that to get around. This guy, he took it to the next level. So this 88-year-old is on his mobility scooter. He decides, that maybe he can't get a ride. I don't know what it is, but he decides to take his mobility scooter through a motorway, causing a massive traffic jam in Spain. People were honking their horns, dash cam.
Hey, what are you doing?
That's Italy, but so driving about 8 miles per hour down the motorway in a tunnel. Police eventually were able to get to him, but what say ye?
Was he okay? So he drove his. Okay, first of all, was he in the correct lane when he was doing this?
Yes.
Okay, so did he hold his breath through the tunnel and make a wish on the scooter?
I seriously doubt he did that.
Do you know how long he'd have to hold his breath going 8 miles an hour through a tunnel? Like pass out if he really wanted the wish bad enough.
But those other people seem to be holding pretty good that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I got to give this guy some major props for doing this. This reminds me of the guy who he found out his brother was dying of cancer, and he lived in Kansas, and he had his license taken away 10 years before because he was in his 80s. So the only way he could get to his brother, which was 4 or 5 states away, was to ride his riding lawnmower all the way across 4 or 5 states, going 10 miles an hour, 4 states over.
I haven't heard.
Yeah, that kind of. They made a movie about that.
Wow.
Yeah, they made a movie about that. The guy who was in the movie Misery, who played the sheriff, played the guy who was riding the riding lawnmower to get to his brother. Yeah, you know what? That guy should be our Good Times gang member of the week because I salute this guy. He's a straight up gangster.
That was okay.
That is a gangster move.
Good Times gang member of the week. All right.
Dude on the 8 mile per hour.
On the motorway.
Yeah, on the motorway. That's our guy of the week. We give him a Country Times Lemonade salute of the week. Hey, so Ryan, you're familiar with TikTok, obviously. You keep up with that better than me.
Yeah. You remember when I said they're not going to ban it?
Yes, they didn't. They didn't.
Not yet, but I still think they're going to run into too much legal trouble. It's it looks like they're trying to. I don't know. They've gotten a lot further than I thought they would on banning it. I'm like, you can't just go to a company and hey, you're banned. I don't like you. That's not really a democracy, right? That's
the complete opposite. That's
dictatorship. You know what? Don't like you. Don't like what you're doing. Don't like you spying. You're out. You can't just do that.
No, you can't, obviously. You know what else TikTok people can't do?
What's
they
that?
Can't throw parties in LA when the city of Los Angeles tells you not to throw a party, okay? TikTok stars Blake Gray and Bryce Hall were charged with misdemeanors for hosting parties during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, this happened last week, Ryan. Both have been charged with misdemeanors after holding 2 large house parties. One of them was a birthday party for one of the boys, and they have 19 million followers combined. So they're extremely popular on TikTok. So they hold a lot of influence. They just had huge blowouts. Their followers showed up, girls, friends, whatever. So they actually had reports of shots being fired at the second party. So the police showed up and they're like, hey, we showed up a week ago. We gave you a warning. We said no more parties. This is ridiculous. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and you're only allowed to have X amount of people at a gathering in California, right? So they're like, okay, whatever, we'll break up the party. Well, then they get another report a week later that shots had been fired. So the city of LA actually went so far as to cut the utilities to this mansion.
Wow.
Yeah, so they cut the power. They can throw parties, I guess, in the dark without any power or whatever.
Or they can just get a generator.
They could probably get a generator. But they're facing up to a year in prison and a $2,000 fine, which is probably nothing to these guys because
I don't
that
know.
many followers.
Well, they make a decent amount, but yeah, 2,000 isn't really a lot.
I mean, $2,000 is like
a year in jail
at Carl's Jr. and make that. Wait, what now?
I said a year in jail's a while.
Well, yeah, it's probably hard to put out content when you're in prison, Ryan. I don't know if they allow tablets in jail. And it would probably be very hard to smuggle in one, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So anyway, I just thought it was crazy. It's like I feel like TikTok is just totally has taken over the internet, and
TikTok is awesome.
TikTok's pretty cool.
I think it's so cool. I mean, I don't know, because it has a really good algorithm. Like, you flip and you're seeing stuff that you actually like and you actually want to see. Like, because what Facebook and them do is like, okay, most popular people, if we're going to continue to make you the most popular, it's like it'll show people that aren't popular when you're flipping through that it thinks you might like.
Yeah.
And really interesting things that like I want to see. It's like, so I get addicted to it, watch it, and like, man.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden a guy pops up, I'm like, hey, you need to take a break. Message from TikTok because you've been on this for too long. Take a break. Come back later.
That's what it'll say to you?
I've ran into it twice because
That's interesting.
Yeah, I was like flipping through for way too long, and I'm like, I need to go to bed. I can't. I need to go to bed, but this is so good. This is so good.
I need to do my actual everyday life, but I can't stop looking at TikTok.
Yeah, like there's people that like they warn, like a lot of Zoomers, like it's growing past Zoom. Now it's getting into like it's like a natural progression. Like the younger people see it first, and now it's getting into like a lot of older people are getting into it, for their businesses. And all whatever. But
well, the thing I was going to say though about TikTok is like, you got 19 million followers or whatever. TikTok, you're so popular on TikTok. They're like, it'd probably be easy to get a big head and think you can get away with things you wouldn't normally get away with. So that's probably why they're
maybe I seen
throwing
that,
these parties
where people get just cocky because they have so much.
Yeah.
The Paul brothers.
yeah, exactly. And Elon Musk. I mean, a lot of people, I'm sure. Pretty much anyone that has power and influence. The president, maybe.
No, not him. He's
I'm just saying
the exception.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that, like, if you get enough influence or whatever, it can cause problems. So this leads into our last story of the night, which is a sports story, and this story is actually pretty cool. There was a 4-year-old golfer named Rocco Figueredo. He actually aced a par 3 at Ogles Bay Park's par 3 course. He was 4 years old. He got a hole-in-one.
How is that possible?
There's a video of it. You see him do it.
Oh, there's a video? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm it would be hard to believe that a 4-year-old could do that.
He did it.
Well, that's good that they have video of it because.
Oh yeah. He started. So his dad was like, "Oh, I'm more than proud. I'm over the moon." And they're like, "Oh, well, when did your boy start golfing?" And he's like, "Well, he said it like this. He's like, "Oh, he started a long time ago. He was 3. Well, he's 4 now." Okay, so he started golfing when he was 3, and the first thing that I thought of when he said, "Oh, he was," he started when he was 3, he got a hole when he was 4, is like, oh, all the toil, all the hard work, all the dedication, to finally have this moment, where he finally gets an ace, Well, actually, that's 25% of his life that he waited.
That's true.
Do the math.
20,
right?
math. I'm not good at math, but that's like 100%, 120% of his life.
Yeah, that's like a lot. That's a quarter. My first question when I saw that, though, was it's customary for people who get holes in one to go into the clubhouse and have to buy a round of drinks for all the fellas in the bar. I wonder if the little guy had to go into the bar and buy everybody around after he got that age.
I didn't know that was a custom.
It is, yeah. Which is like the weirdest custom ever because, like,
yeah, because you get a hole in one, you have to buy everybody a drink.
Yes. So when you bowl a 300, everybody buys you a drink. So it's the complete opposite. So that little kid goes in there and he's like, I want everybody in this bar to get a milk, an ice cold milk. Because he's 4, right?
That's funny. Okay. Yeah. You don't have to explain it because it's funny.
Hey, milk. Quiet you. Milk at restaurants, though, is sometimes more expensive than cocktails at restaurants. Have you ever noticed that? Like a glass of milk, it's like, oh, I want a glass of milk. Okay, that's $5. It's like, what? The gallon costs $3. It's the weirdest markup.
You got to pay the workers' fees, the wages.
So open the gallon of milk and pour it in the glass. God, that's like come on, Ryan. On that note, you got anything else?
I just got to say, I'm very excited for our good time episode this time. I think we had fun, and I think anybody in the comments got anything to say?
We had people blowing up in the comments when we first started recording tonight, but it kind of slowed down a little bit.
Well, okay. So, all right, let's end it now. And you got anything to say?
Yeah, I do. I was gonna piggyback off what you said. Tonight was good. I think tonight was a lot of fun, and I'm glad we did it. And stories were great. Everything was good. I had a lot of fun.
All right. So in the recording thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, follow button, and check us out. Check out the other episodes. Thanks. And we really appreciate you. Thank you. And oh man, thank you for those great reviews. You all are awesome. Great. Thank you, good timers. Later.
Thank you. Mahalo.
Okay.